Agunot. Translated, the word means chained wife. The term for a Jewish woman who is chained to her marriage is halachik, governed by Jewish law. The four types of agunot are: number 1, the man divorces the wife in civil courts and possibly remarries, but refuses to let the ex-wife do the same. Number 2, the man simply disappears and the wife is deserted. Number 3, the husband dies in war and/or combat. Number 4, it is a special case. It is not considered desertion, but the widow has to ask her husband's brother for permission to remarry. If given permission, she then has the kalitza. These scenarios are based on the interpretation of Deuteronomy 24, 1-4. Each interpretation depends on the rabbi and the synagogue and the halakha. Kalitza, or ritual release, literally means taking off. The shoe is the symbolic rite by which the widow's husband has died, but the brother of the deceased husband must marry the widow. If the brother wishes to not marry the widow, he gives her his shoe, and the lever is broken. Lever is a mandatory. The childless brother of the deceased husband must marry the widow.
Deuteronomy 24, verses 1 and 2. When a man takes a wife and marries her, if she finds no favor in his eyes because of arvat davar, which means fault or indecency, and bill of divorce, and puts it in her hand, and then sends her out of his house. The strict interpretation of this scripture means that the husband must initiate the divorce. This is done with a formal decree known as a get. Another scripture used in get refusal is Yevamot 14, verse 1. A man who divorces is not similar to a woman who is divorced. For the woman goes out with her consent or without her consent, but a man can only remove his wife with his consent. The four main branches of Judaism present in North America are Orthodox, Conservative, Reform, and Reconstruction. Orthodox Judaism is a branch that is most closely related to the beliefs of ancient Jews. They hold the Torah as divine and absolute and strictly interpret Halakha, or Jewish law. Conservative Judaism was developed in the 20th century as a counter to the Reform movement. This is the largest denomination and sought to conserve tradition while using new methods of study. Reform Judaism, also known as liberal or progressive Judaism, holds that humans have the ability to use their own judgment when interpreting the Torah, more liberal with interpretation. Reconstructionism, a movement and rejects the belief that the Torah was given to Moses on Mount Sinai. Instead, Judaism is a continuous and growing process that interprets Jewish tradition based on the needs of the modern world. Because the majority of Jews are either conservative or Orthodox, there is widespread rigid interpretation of Jewish law. Around 1000 CE, Rabbi Gershom passed two important takana, or laws, the first of which being against polygamy. Any man that married more than one wife would be excommunicated from the community. This forbids a husband from divorcing a woman against her will. If the husband does divorce his wife without good reason, he must pay kataba, or a large sum of money.
Over many centuries, thousands of responses have been written to help reach agreements with the whole subject regarding Agunot. There have been many conferences and discussions which have not yet helped reach a complete agreement. The process of divorce is very long, and in the past, most Agunot cases were due to the husband dying or leaving without clear evidence. The first step to this process of liberation is the writing of a bill of divorce. Then a consultation by a competent rabbinical authority to review all rules regarding the reasoning, delivery, and acceptance. The third step would be getting the get, which does not emphasize the breakdown nor specifies the reason, rather just states that the woman is free to marry another man. A civil divorce is not sufficient to dissolve a Jewish marriage. As far as Jewish law, a couple remains married until the woman receives the get. Many liberal Jews have a religiously valid marriage, yet do not obtain a religiously valid divorce. If the woman remarries after such procedure, her second marriage is considered adulterous, and the children from such marriage are considered mamzerim or bastards. There has been many suggestions and new tactics to try to help, for example, a get insurance plan which would be sold by insurance companies to brides, as well as a halachic decision based on community sentiment and pressure, and even a conditional get that a man would give his wife when going off to war. The most recent is the prenuptial agreement, which provides women with more rights and outlines arrangements if separation were to occur.
I left after the first time my husband hit me. Even after years of emotional abuse, I wasn't going to let my boys think it's okay to hit their wives.
Under the chuppah, we bless every young couple who gets married that they should have a happy marriage, and we hope that will certainly be the case. But unfortunately, we know that every so often there is a woman whom we refer to as an Agunot, and the husband refuses to give her a get, and this is a serious problem.
I didn't have a halachic prenup to protect myself. My husband thought he could blackmail me. He told me he would only give me a get if I waived his obligation to child support. I didn't have the money to support my children on my own. I wouldn't give in to his extortion. I was left in Agunot for 6 years.
When my ex-husband refused to give me the get, I felt trapped and helpless. I didn't know if and when I would finally receive my get.
Domestic abuse is not just about black and blue marks, but about a pattern of controlling behavior. Get refusal is an abusive act which we must never excuse or justify.
We each have a responsibility to protect everyone in the community from the tragedy of get refusal. There's one prospective solution that can prevent this form of abuse: the halachic prenuptial agreement.
I helped draft the halachic prenup because withholding a get is a perversion of Jewish law. Zalman Nechemia Goldberg originated the idea and endorsed it, as did Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, and more recently, Rav Usher Weiss and other Gedolim have endorsed it as well.
The prenuptial agreement is the halachic solution to this problem, and we would certainly encourage all the parents and all the rabbanim and the young couples to fill out such a document before they get married.
By signing the halachic prenup, you're making a commitment to your fiancé that no matter what, you don't want to hurt them. You're sending a powerful message to each other and to others of true love, care, respect, and commitment to a community built on those values.
I wished I had the prenup, but when I got married, nobody knew about it.
I didn't sign the halachic prenuptial agreement because I didn't know about it.
We have a solution that has worked 100% of the time: the halachic prenuptial agreement. This crisis can end with us.
Remember,
Friends
Don't let
friends
Get married
Without the prenup.